Now we are in a position where you can start thinking about how you would want to code this behavior, right? So let me show you how we can code it. Again, do you expect to see a while loop in your Verilog code? Right? By now you know that you don't see while loops for these kind of purposes, right? So I have started by declaring all the inputs and outputs. So in this particular case, I have created a variable called as GCD. It is declared as a wire, and I simply assign the X value to the GCD. That's all. So here you can see that the X value is assigned to GCD. So all the operations will happen with the X port, but for the outside user, we can simply call the port as GCD, so that it becomes easier for them to interface. Right? Okay, so what I want to focus on is how we would write the state for the how we would control our state variable. Sorry. Right, so I have made the declarations possible states here using local param. So you have the reset state, start state, loop 1, loop 2, and finally the ready state. So to assign values to the state variable is going to tell the controller in what state the whole system is, so that you can generate the outputs accordingly, right? So when there is a pause edge in reset, you make the state variable to 0, right? Otherwise, so state variable to 0, or you could have directly given this s reset variable there. Now, if not, if you are in s reset and you get an edge in start and your start is 1, then the next state should become the start state, right? Else you remain in the reset state. In the start state, you don't do anything in particular, you don't wait for anything else. At the next clock edge, you move to the loop 1. Now in loop 1, you remain in loop 1 as long as x is not equal to y. The moment x becomes equal to y, you move to loop 2. And in loop 2, again, if your count becomes 0, you move to the ready state, else you remain in loop 2. And in ready state, you will remain there till you get a reset. Otherwise, till you get a reset. Once you get a reset, you can move to the reset state. And for default condition, I have said that the system must be in the reset state. Okay. Any questions on this? Okay. Now let us look at how we would assign values to the variable x. Right. So under reset condition, I say that x has to be initialized to 0. Right. Now what are the mux signals that I should look at? Look at the data path design you have and tell me. Update y doesn't affect our x variable, right? X register is affected by load x, update x, left shift x, and load x after subtraction, right? So I have simply written an else if condition using all of these select signals, right? So if load x is 1, then you do certain things. If load x is 0, then you retain the previous value. If update x is 1, then you do certain things. If update x is 0, then what happens to x? Yeah. So u is assigned to x. Right? Now, similarly, I have included the condition for left shift x. And under left shift x conditions, you look for load x after subtraction. So if left shift x was 0 and load x subtraction was 1, then you do x minus y right shifted by 1. Right? So whatever you see in that data path, that has been implemented here as a Verilog. That's all. Right? Now, can you comment on whether I should have put both x and y in the same always block? Is the question clear? So instead of just saying if reset x equal to 8-d0, I could have also written it as begin. Let's say y is equal to 8-d0 end. Should I have done this? And then, so the moment I start assigning a value to y in this always block, all the assignments to y should happen within the same always block. So everywhere I would have conditions for x and y, right? Should I have done that, or is this better? So we can do that also, but the problem, it's not a problem, something you have to keep in mind. X and y are controlled by different control signals, right? So now I will have to specify what happens to y under two different cases of load x. Similarly, what happens to y when I do update x, and vice versa. What should happen to x when I have load y equal to 1 and load y equal to 0. So that way you can still write it, but your code becomes slightly longer, a little unnecessarily also, right? So instead of that, I have written a separate always blocks for x and y. So can you write out how the always block for y should look like?